I think it's about time I talked about my favourite author and the one I will continue to fangirl over. Hi, Katie here. These are my books and I'm better known as Reading with Katie Lees over on BookTok and Bookstagram, and I'm here to talk to you about my favourite author. So for those that may have only just discovered me on BookTube, you may or may not know that my favourite author, who I will constantly go on about, is Steve Cavanagh. I have a whole shelf dedicated to him in my bookshelf, and I even have a Teddy which I had done for my 30th birthday, and I've named him Stevie after the lovely Steve Cavanagh. Steve Cavanagh is probably most best known for his Eddie Flynn series, and he does also have a couple standalones which I'll talk about after. But I do want to talk to you first about the Eddie Flynn series, and I have fallen in love with this. A small story to tell you first. I actually discovered Steve Cavanagh by picking up 13, which is somewhere in the middle of his Eddie Flynn series. That being said, I have read most of these out of order, but I think you will enjoy them 20 times more if you follow the character development, which I soon discovered when I dived into the series in order, once I discovered how much I loved him as an author. So the first story in the Eddie Flynn series is The Defence. This I rated 4 stars and was actually the last book to read, as I didn't actually realise, I know I'm a fan and I've got it wrong, that this was the first in the series. So I actually picked this up on Kindle and later bought this, so this is why the condition of this is so pristine. Just to read you the blurb, Eddie Flynn used to be a con artist, he then becomes a lawyer. This is the best thing about him. Turned out the two weren't that different. He once vowed never to set foot in a courtroom again, but now he doesn't have a choice. Eddie's daughter has been kidnapped. The timer is on, hence the front cover, to get her back, and some of the things he has to do are a little questionable, but these are all really quick and easy reads. They're quite short books, but that was the first in the series. The second book in the series is The Plea. It follows Eddie Flynn as he has to go into court and stand with somebody who is very strongly believed to be guilty. However, when Eddie Flynn actually gets to talk to him, he does believe he's innocent, but he's only actually defending him based on basically blackmail. And yeah, it again was another 4-star read, but I did read this like nearly 5 years ago now and absolutely loved it again. The third book in the series is The Liar. Again, I read this in 2019. And this follows an old friend of Eddie Flynn's as he gets in touch after his daughter is kidnapped, and he's the only person who knows the truth about his past. Quick thriller again, another 4 stars. As much as he is my favourite author, not all of his books are 5 stars. I am open and honest about all of my reviews, but that is book 3. The next in the series is 13, and this is actually the book that got me into reading Steve Cavanagh. This was the one I accidentally picked up in Waterstones all those years ago and was hooked on. I rated this 5 stars, so you can see why I became a fan when this was the first book I read. So it follows a bunch of jurors that are going against somebody, and the unaliver is actually in the jury. That is enough to be said. This was such a twisty read. I mean, I've had this book so long that the pages are actually starting to fall out, and I do want to replace it. But yeah, the book that got me into the series and had me falling in love with the series, and probably if you're not too bothered about the character development, the first book I would recommend picking up. The next book in the series is 50-50. Now this follows 2 sisters where the father is unalived and they're both blaming each other. One of them obviously did it. You think you know who and you're probably going to be wrong, but this was twisted, and Eddie Flynn had to basically stand for one of the sisters who he believed to be innocent, and he goes on to find the truth whether she is or not. But oh my goodness, was this twisted, and you'll see a lot of character development at this point, so I would strongly recommend them reading them in order at this point. The next in the series is The Devil's Advocate. So this follows someone who has sent more people to death row than you care to count, and when somebody's unalived and the wrong person is blamed, Eddie Flynn comes in to save the day and to prove his innocence. This comes with so many twists, but again, another fantastic read for me, and I really, really hope that you can pick up the Eddie Flynn series. But yeah, it follows someone and basically trying to find who is corrupt and who is sending so many people to their unalivings without, you know, when there's no reason. Plenty of innocent people here are getting unalived, and it's as good as an unaliving, but can you prove it? The next one in the series is The Accomplice. So this is actually the current last one before release, as Witness 8 comes out on August 1st. But this one follows as the wife is getting blamed for her husband's serial unalivings, and he has basically run off and gone to hide. And it's Eddie Flynn's job to try and prove whether she is an accomplice or not, basically. I rated this 5 stars. Such a good read and a lovely way to end the Eddie Flynn for now. It's actually been a couple of years since an Eddie Fling book came out, so I'm super excited for Witness 8 to come out. Before I move on to the standalones, I've obviously already mentioned this, but Witness 8 comes out on August 1st. Now, I am going to fangirl about this several times. At time of recording, I have yet to pick it up, but I was accepted for the ARC. At time of this going out, it is just before the book is released, so I may or may not have read it. But oh my goodness, am I excited. Getting a pre-release copy of my favourite author is just proof that I have made it, posting all these random videos ranting at you all about books. But Witness 8 is just, yeah, the cover speaks volumes, and I cannot wait to read it and tell you all about it. So the first of Steve Cavanagh standalones is Twisted. Can we please just take a minute to just appreciate the sprayed edge? So I'm just going to read you the blurb because this book gives out too many things if I tell you what it's about. Before you read this book, I want you to know 3 things. The police are looking to charge me with murder, no one knows who I am or how I did it, and if you think you've found me, I am coming for you next. After you've read this book, you'll know that the truth is far more twisted. I rated this 4 stars, but still a fantastic read and a perfect first standalone for me. The final Steve Cavanagh book, and his most recent release nearly 12 months ago, is Kill For Me, Kill For You. This was a 5-star read and by far my favourite book written by him. It follows 2 women who have got men in their lives that they quite frankly want rid of. They actually end up making a deal that if one kills for them, they'll kill for the other. Oh, the twist in this. Honestly, I inhaled this in a day. I was so fortunate to meet Steve Cavanagh last year when he signed the hardback edition of this. Obviously, I had to buy the paperback for my collection, but oh my goodness, this was just phenomenal. Like, I can't begin to explain the twist. I mean, the storyline in itself, it just seems like it's so easy to do. Like, no one's going to guess that the other unalived the other because they don't know him. But yeah, such a good read, and absolutely so excited now for his new book because this is by far my favourite book and I've done nothing but recommend it and hype it. So that is the last of my Steve Cavanagh books, and that is all of the ones I own, which is all of his books. They've all been 4 or 5 stars, obviously my favourite being Kill For Me, Kill For You, and probably my least favourite being The Defence, but I think it's when he was first starting out, and once you actually build up the series, they become so lovable in more ways than just the crime. I am very excited for his new release, and I will be meeting him on the 2nd of August to get that book signed too. But please let me know in the comments if you have read any Steve Cavanagh books, your favourite book if you have, and if you haven't, definitely recommend Kill For Me, Kill For You, and start with The Defence for the Eddie Flynn series. But yeah, thanks for joining me yet again, guys, and yeah, let me know in the comments, like and subscribe, and hopefully see some of you soon.